Hey everybody, welcome to another edition of Inside Guns with your host, me, the Yankee Marshal. You know, there's all kinds of different guns in this world. And I don't mean different manufacturers, different calibers, anything like that. I mean guns that are just for different purposes. Especially when you look at like handguns. There are handguns that are good for concealed carry. There are some that are better for open carry. There's some that are best for the range or home defense. There's some that are more suited for camping or hiking or even hunting. There's all kinds of different categories of handguns, different purposes that they excel at, different uses they excel at. And one of these categories that a lot of people don't like is novelty guns. Novelty guns exist. There are guns out there that have no practical purpose. They just exist because they're cool. Maybe they're sci-fi looking, or they're just outrageous. They just make no sense. And that's why someone makes it, because it made no sense and they wanted to make it. Novelty guns are a thing. And a lot of people don't like that. They don't like the fact that there's novelty guns around because they say, it muddies the waters about what a gun is supposed to be. It's supposed to be a tool for self-defense. And when you start having guns that are like toys, you kind of like destroy the whole thing about what guns are supposed to be. And I disagree with that completely. I think guns are way more than tools, I should say, to defend yourself with. They're pieces of art. They're sporting equipment even, if you sport shoot. So they are far more than just a practical tool. A lot of people appreciate the way they look, and a lot of people love things that are just outrageous. I don't have a problem with novelty guns. In fact, I really like novelty guns. I consider the FN57 a novelty gun. I've said that before. I think it's one of the more expensive novelty guns, and I think it's one of the ones that people mistake for an actual good carry gun, and that's where the problem comes in. The only real problem with novelty guns is when people can't tell they're novelties. When they think a gun that is really not good for much of anything is something they should trust their life to under one circumstance or another. And I recently got a question about this in my live chat. I've received several questions over the last couple of months about this particular gun, but someone in the live chat the other night said, hey, I need a 44 Magnum for camping and hiking. What do you think of the Desert Eagle? And I was like, well, I love the idea of 44 Magnum for camping and hiking, but the Desert Eagle is a novelty gun. Now, am I telling someone you shouldn't own it? No, I've got one. Right here's one. This is a 50. This here's a 357 Magnum. I have two of them. Like I said, I like novelty guns. The only problem with this gun when it comes to being your camping, hiking gun is it's just not appropriate. It's not a good gun for that use. Desert Eagles are novelty guns. They exist because they're outrageous. That's the only reason they exist. Now, by telling you, don't carry one, never carry a Desert Eagle, that's overkill or anything like that. No, that's not why I'm having a problem with them. You carry as big a gun as you want. I carry a 454 Casull daily. That's a pretty big gun. And I know people are going to say, you carry a big gun, kind of like my shirt says here. Oh, you carry a big gun, it means you got a tiny penis. And I always tell people, no, that's just a coincidence. Carrying a big gun doesn't mean anything other than you think you might face a big target, I guess. So I am not saying you can't carry Desert Eagles because they're too big, they're too heavy. I mean, they do weigh as much as a small car. I mean, I think they're about half the weight of a Miata or something like that. And they're unwieldy. They got a lot of sharp edges on them. They're not the best gun for carry. Hard to find a holster for, hard to shoot accurately. All of those things can be overcome, though. You could carry that gun and be just fine. The problem with them is they're just not that reliable. The way they're designed is I've never seen one that shoots well, that shoots reliably. Now, I know people all the time say, I've got a Desert Eagle, it's never failed. Well, I always say, well, then you've probably never shot it. And if they say, yes, I do shoot it all the time and it's very reliable, I kind of take that like when someone tells me they have a 9-inch penis. I'm like, I'll believe it when I see it. Not that I want to see your penis. I've seen enough penises in my life. I don't need to see any more penises. I don't even care if I see my own again, to be honest. I kind of have to, but it's not nothing I look forward to every day, and I definitely don't want to see yours. But like I was saying, getting back on topic here, if someone tells me their Desert Eagle is reliable because of the experience I've had with multiple Desert Eagles, I owned many of them in my life. This is actually probably like the 6th and 7th Desert Eagle I've owned myself. And I've shot other people's Desert Eagles. I had one of the tiger striped polished gold ones at one point because I have poor judgment when it comes to guns. But that's the thing. These guns are awesome as novelties. They're awesome at the range for big booming guns. If you want people to ask you what you're shooting and want to look at it and want to shoot it themselves, the Desert Eagles are awesome. If you've got something to do where you maybe only have to need to fire one shot, they're pretty good. But as far as a carry gun that you'd trust your life with, they just don't have the reliability or the reputation for that. Especially not for a woods gun where you might be rolling around in rocks and dirt and going through bushes and stuff, and that stuff might get on your gun or whatever. Anything that could affect reliability, you don't want to start with a gun that isn't reliable to begin with and then add stuff to it to make it less reliable. So the Desert Eagle just would not be appropriate there. 44 Magnum, great idea. Desert Eagle, bad idea. And like I said, not because it's too big, not because it's too powerful. I love big, I love powerful. It's just because it's not reliable. Someone is thinking that novelty gun is a practical gun, and it isn't. Doesn't serve any real practical purpose. It's kind of like what I always said about the 5.7. Yeah, it's cool. I like it. I own one because it's sci-fi looking, and it carries, and it uses a pretty cool round even. But that round isn't particularly effective, and you only get 20 rounds of it in a gun. That's great that you get 20 rounds, but I would much rather have 16 rounds of 10 millimeter. That's going to be far more effective overall. So I consider that kind of a novelty. But it's still reliable, or at least fairly reliable. The Desert Eagles just aren't. Most people who are honest with you are going to say they are just for fun. They don't serve a practical purpose. Make sure when you look at guns that are really cool, or really outrageous, that they're also practical, that they're reliable. And the Desert Eagle just isn't. And you know what? That's okay, because the Desert Eagle is a lot of things. It's powerful, it's big, it's fun, and that's great. It's just not a carry gun. They want to carry the Desert Eagle. Lost track of where it was. Now, the problem only exists with my fucking Porky Pig.